So first of all, for the market outlook, I posted in the Telegram group that on 16. So there's a spring. So this is a spring happen, and the potential rally would need to first price confirmation to commit above the this high. So this is the high that we need to commit above. Else likely is the last attempt to rally. So at that point, it's actually the inflection point. So I think that's a very important key point. And I think on that night is the Fed decision. So we do get a rally up, strong rally up, and also overcome this critical level. And on the 18th of the March, there are just some changes in the S&P 500. So first is just a break of the downtrend line, which I pointed out here. This is a break of the downtrend line, and also a commitment of this high here, which that's a follow up from this date here, and also is testing the key resistance level at about 4400. That's the axis line. So at that point, if you look at here, so this is the axis line, which is very obvious. If it breaks out, then likely I think there will be just more upside ahead. So indeed, we get a very strong rally last week. So it's just like a strong trending week. All right, so let's just quickly take a look at the indices. So let's bring up the chart here. Okay, so this is the S&P 500 futures. So you can definitely see that there's a very strong rally happening last week. So we got a like 4 continuous update. And in terms of the magnitude of the rally, I think this could be one of the best, if not the best. So we got a good rally here, and I think this could be even better. So if we switch to, let's switch to the log chart. I think probably is very similar. I would say probably it's the same as the previous rally here. So this and this is probably the two of the best rally. So I just would like to classify this as kind of like a change of character. But don't be mistaken, it's not the change of character on the way out, but it's sort of in itself is a change of character. So means that is definitely breaks out of this very bearish sentiment. So because like we say quite a few weeks ago, this is the selling climax, and we see that this is the automatic rally followed by a secondary test, and we got a spring type action, or we call it the Wyckoff spring, but the spring actually kind of failed. So we got a failure here. So got a failure, and these two reaction actually could consider as a test. So we got a test of the spring. So this is kind of a, a complicated spring, a complex spring. So in terms of the volume, you can definitely tell that the volume is quite consistent. So the volume is consistently high. So that suggests some absorption going on this, especially these two reaction. And if you look at this big picture, so there's a big picture here, and take a look here. So this is the reaction that we have. So what does it do? I think you probably can tell from here, right? So we got a reaction is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So, or if you want, you can definitely use the truss as well. So this is the truss is getting shorter and shorter, and similar to the down wave, it's getting smaller and smaller. So this is a sign of the exhaustion of selling. So just by looking at the structure itself together with this volume, so there's absorption going on here together with exhaustion of the selling. So we can definitely anticipate some kind of the rally, and this is the rally which actually propelled by the short covering. So why did I say it's a short covering? So first, during this point, this is kind of like a very super negative sentiment. It's a very bearish negative sentiment, and because during that time, I think if we get let me bring back the chart. If we get some bad news out from Russia and Ukraine, definitely I think we could easily just tank the market and then see a capitulation down move once it's break below the 4100 level, which I just emphasized that is the last line of the defense. So 4100 is actually a very important level. If we break that, then definitely we can see a very panic sell off, just break below. But it did not really happen. In fact, with this sort of the high consistent supply level, it just failed to go down. So we do not see any continuation to the downside. So this is a good news. And subsequently that followed by a breakout. So this is actually a very critical level, 4320. So this is the high of this bearish bar, where the rejection begin, because once it actually break above and commit above, there is quite a lot of the short covering. So despite we see that the volume actually goes down, the spread, the bullish spread actually is quite big. So this is a sign or hint of the short covering. So once it's break above, then there's a lot of the short covering, just covering the short positions. That's why we do not really need a lot of the volume to push the price up. So this is like a ease of movement, so which propel the short covering, actually propel the rally. Okay, and in terms of some of the critical level, if you look at probably let's start from this bar. So why I keep emphasizing the bar on 11th of March, which is this bar, because this is actually the last commitment to the downside. So in order for a rally to kickstart, like to have a reversal, a bullish reversal, then this is definitely the first level that you need to overcome. So that actually coincides with, this is like a kind of a breakdown. So if you look at the level, so first we have probably this level. So this is a level. Let me delete this. Okay, this is one level. So the first breakdown actually happened here. Get tested, rejected, continuation to the downside, selling climax, kind of spring it, and followed by a rally. So during this time, sort of forming a trading range, but it actually fails right here. So this is the failure bar, quite big. And subsequently, there's a lot of the volatility. And with this, there's another attempt to rally out, but there's a strong rejection. And that also coincides with this downtrend line. So actually, this is kind of a important level. So it just get violated on this day. So this is I think on Wednesday. So followed by another level. So this is another crucial level, 4400, and it just breaking out on Friday, and now is actually testing this level. So 4550. I think that we could definitely see another test of from here to around 4600 level. So which is pretty much the previous resistance zone. So this is again, I think go back to this structure. So like a trading range structure. So we got a selling climax or automatic rally, secondary test. And then this is probably phase B unfolding. And we need to pay attention how the price actually interact right at this resistance zone, and whether there will be a lot of the spike of the supply, or whether there will be some kind of the test, shallow reaction, things like that. So right now, if I just base on the current development, this is still in phase B structure, so still volatile, but short term is swinging up. So short term is up, but resistance level is just right ahead of this level. Okay. Dave say, will it go back down to the support? Yes, if this is phase B, likely. Okay, short term up, right? So this is short term direction is up, long term direction down. So the long term direction is still down, and the bias that's why is pointing to the downside. So this is the resistance, and if this is phase A, this is B, and if this is indeed an accumulation, okay, I just assume this is accumulation. In fact, most likely it could be turn out to become a distribution as well, because right now it's still in an early phase. We couldn't really just confirmed at the moment. So highly likely that will met by quite a lot of the supply and resistance, and it should go back down to have a test. So it's quite important to look at the next reaction down, like the blue shape. Well, it could be. So at the moment there's a low. This is already a W, and I definitely want to see the next test. So if the next test is of low volatility, then I think there could be a chance for a bottoming process, like to building up a base. So this could be a base. Otherwise, if it still keep getting volatile or even having some kind of the increasing of the volatility and then sign of weakness, then it could be the U-TET. Okay, so right now, long term is definitely in to the bearish side, and short term is up. And because of the breakdown of the structure and long term structure, I will just give it to the a bearish bias at the moment. But short term, I think we could definitely see some up move here. And in terms of the stock selection, which I will just dive in more, I think that because I see some of the questions from a few of you, I would like to just emphasize that right now, despite the direction is going up, definitely we want to focus on the long setup. But if you just concentrate on this kind of the structure, like maybe in the phase A selling climax or even phase B up move, it will be quite challenging. It's not impossible to trade, but it would be very challenging. Means that there will be a lot of the volatility going to the upside, going to the downside, or even it might not be a straightforward up move like every day is going up like this or every day going up like this. It could be quite a choppy move, maybe something like this, then it could be very hard to trade. So instead of focusing on this sort of the structure, like oh you just want to long at a support and then trade it to the upside, why not just focus on some kind of the good accumulation structure where you just experience maybe phase C or even phase D or even the backup structure, which happen in a lot of the commodity stocks or even the crude oil, gold, precious metals, or even the soft commodities like in the wheat sector, wheat group. So that's something that I will just talk about when we go through the questions and also the stock selections. All right, but right now, in terms of the directional bias, then short term is up. We will be testing the resistance level, but long term structure is still to the downside. We got a side of weakness here, so I will still put a bearish bias for this big structure here.